How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's go right into this review and see what I saw. So welcome to an all-new movie review, folks out there in YouTube land. So this awesome review is about a film I just checked out last week. It came out June 21st in theaters and is a awesome sequel film that is the fourth film in the awesome series that it's already a part of, that Pixar has made and created and made this amazing and awesome world. Now, we've had very many years in between these films, such as the last one, which was number 3, which came out in 2010, and now we have a 9-year gap between number 3 and number 4. Then before that, there was the 11-year gap between 2 and 3. So it's kind of a pattern with this film series, I feel, that it keeps going years and years down the road. And yet, you know, these characters only age a couple years here and there, which I think is pretty funny. But still, it's a fantastic series, really fun to watch, and this one was no exception to that. Now, the movie I'm talking about happens to be the awesome film that Pixar just released in June of this year, Toy Story 4. Da-da! Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Oh yeah. So, of course, Toy Story, the original, which came out in 1995, which was, holy crap, 24 years ago. I saw it in theaters 24 years ago. And this is just awesome. They finally came out with Toy Story 4. I was psyched as hell for this film, and it just was so fantastic and awesome, and just really very well done. And it, you know, the 9-year wait was really worth the wait. Now, this film is actually the directorial debut of the director of this one, actually. Now, the director of this one happens to be an animator and a scriptwriter for a few of the other Disney Pixar films, Mr. Josh Cooley. Now, Josh Cooley, like I said, this is his directorial debut. The only other thing he's actually directed was a little short film that they did for Inside Out called Riley's First Date. Now, everything else he's done, he's been an animator, a screenwriter for a few of the other Pixar films over the years. He actually was a co-writer on Inside Out as well. But when it comes to his direction for Toy Story 4, I thought he did a really good job for his first time being a, full-on feature director. And I thought that he had a lot of great skills. He really brought to life the characters, gave us these new characters to enjoy. And also at the same time, he kept that Toy Story line going and really, just flushed out the story even more and gave us a little bit more of a comedy element even to this one versus the other ones. Because there's always comedy to the other ones, but I feel this one had a lot more comedy, in this one, which I thought was really fantastic. And it was nice to see a fresh set of eyes on this awesome series. Now, this film, of course, has its returning cast, of course, of all their originals, except for, unfortunately, the late, great Jim Varney, the late, great Don Rickles. But thankfully, for Don Rickles, they still had leftover audio that they're able to use to do the actual voicing over for Mr. Potato Head in this film. So I thought that was really fantastic that they were able to do that instead of just replacing him. Now, this film is just amazing, awesome, excellent. Like I said, superbly beautiful. The colors, the richness of the CGI, it gets better and better each one they do. The realistic, realism of the humans and the animals and the creatures and the toys all look so real, and it's so amazing, and Pixar does an amazing job with this. Now, the awesome cast, like I was talking about, I'm going to start off with, of course, one of the mainstays himself, Mr. Tom Hanks. Now, Tom Hanks you might recognize, of course, from such films as Bachelor Party. You might recognize him from Bosom Buddies. You might recognize him from a slew of films over the years. Turner Hooch, Forrest Gump, Philadelphia, a whole bunch of films, lots of Academy Award performances and so forth. But a couple films I really enjoyed him in, thought he was fantastic in. It was none other than an awesome film that came out in 1990 that stars Meg Ryan, and is a great kind of like dramedy film where, basically Tom Hanks' character finds out that he has brain cancer and decides that he's going to do all of his bucket list things before he dies. And then, of course, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to ruin it, but towards the end of the film, he finds something else out and, changes the whole plot of the story. But it's just a really fun, fantastic, romantic comedy type of film, dramedy. And I just thought that the chemistry between Meg Ryan and him were just really amazing, and you can see it even in Sleepless in Seattle. They worked really well together. But this film, I just feel, is really fun and awesome and hilarious. I actually saw it in theaters back in 1990, and I thought this movie was just super and superb, and one of Tom Hanks' really great films. I don't think it gets enough recognition for how fun of a film it is, and how advanced it was for its time, because a lot of the sequences in the film, required, being on tropical islands and, creating this giant raft out of luggage and stuff like that. So, Joe versus the Volcano is just a really amazing film, really fun, really enjoyable, and just a really great dramedy, comedy, rom-com type of film. If you haven't seen it, give it a chance, people. It's worth the watch. Now, that brings me to the second film that Mr. Tom Hanks was in that I really enjoyed. Now, this one came out in 1989 and has an all-star cast from Bruce Dern, Corey Feldman, Carrie Fisher. You had Rick Dukeman in it, Wendy Shaw. You had this huge cast of great veteran comedians, actors, and stuff like that in this film. Directed by Joe Dante. This movie is one of his best, I feel, of all time. And that, of course, is the film called The Burbs. Oh, yeah. The Burbs. The Burbs. So The Burbs, if you're not familiar with it, basically what it is, it's craziness or, ensues in this suburban town where Tom Hanks is just trying to be a normal, everyday person, but he keeps getting swapped, pulled into unfortunately, all these crazy ideas that his neighbors have, and unfortunately, one of these ideas eventually ends up manifesting real, causes, and he has to deal with it. It's just a really amazingly well done film by Joe Dante, who directed Gremlins, by the way. And it was such a fantastic film. I thought his performance in it was really well done. Really, showed his Oscar potential, for further down the road when he did Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. And really showed that he had a great sense of comedy, and seriousness, and just like a combination of them both. And the film itself was so well directed and had great special effects for its time, great music, and just a really great screenplay. It just was a really amazing film. If you haven't seen The Burbs, definitely check it out, people. Worth the watch. Now, it comes to Tom Hanks, of course, reprising the awesome Woody, the cowboy, and the awesome Toy Story 4. Once again, he brings Woody to life with that great voice. You cannot imagine Woody without Tom Hanks' voice, and it's just so amazing. Just how he brought that to life and how much he puts into, the soul of that character. And I really feel that in this one, that Tom Hanks even took it to another notch because it's been so long, that he really wanted to kind of give, Woody some more, pointers and potentials and growth and all these types of things. And I really felt that in, Tom Hanks' performance in this film. If you haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet, definitely check it out if you're a huge Tom Hanks fan. He was great as Woody again and did a fantastic job of bringing Woody back to life again. So that brings me to the second actor that returned to do a voiceover in this awesome film. That, of course, is Mr. Buzz Lightyear himself, Mr. Tim Allen. Oh, yeah! Tim Allen! Oh, 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 oh. The Santa Claus, Home Improvement, The Shaggy Dog, Jungle to Jungle. So many awesome movies that he's been in, just that were really fantastic. And just, he always is so awesome, Last Man Standing, so forth. Tim Allen is just a great comedian as well. I love him in pretty much everything I ever see him in, and he always makes great performances in anything he does. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed him in, and I feel are really good films that are just fun, family friendly, and just really great comedy as well, and great cast. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about, I already mentioned the name of this film, and Tim Allen plays a great character in this film. He plays a father that learns that he has a son, goes off to this faraway place to get him, to bring him back to civilization, basically, and try to do the father thing. And this is just a really great Disney film. And that, of course, is a film called Jungle to Jungle. Oh yeah, Mimi Siku. Oh god, such a great film. Love this film. Thought it was so fantastic when it came out in 1997. Has a great cast. Martin Short, David Augensteers are in it. You had, Mimi Siku was played by Sam Huntington. You had Lily Sobieski in it. I mean, this movie was just a really powerhouse type of film for its time. With up and coming great actors and actresses, and it just was a fun film. And I love Tim Allen's character, and I love how he goes from this, kind of overzealous workaholic father figure that doesn't know as a kid, and then learns that he has a kid and he has to adjust to it, and basically how it helps him mature and, gives you a great sense of, being, a part of a family and being a father and so forth. And I thought that, Tim did a really amazing job with that character and just made it really fun, entertaining, and just a really great performance. Really enjoyed him in that film. If you haven't seen Jungle to Jungle, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. Really fun film. Now that brings me to the second film Mr. Tim Allen was in that I absolutely enjoy. Now this film came out in 1999 in this amazing space comedy film. And this movie had an all-star cast as well. It had Sigourney Weaver in it, Alan Rickman. It had Sam Rockwell in it, Tony Shalhoub, Derry Chili Mitchell. You had Missy Pyle in it. I mean, this movie has a huge cast. Justin Long, Rainn Wilson has a part in it too, and it goes on and goes on. And it was directed by Dean Parasote. And I think that this film was just such an amazing film and one of Tim Allen's best, in the last 20 plus years. And of course the film is called Galaxy Quest. Oh yeah! By Grethlar's hammer, you will be avenged. This movie is like so freaking awesome and amazing, and I absolutely love this film. Alan Rickman was so amazing, such an amazing actor, and this performance was such a superb, job by him. From him playing Sheriff Nottingham and, Robin Hood, Prince and Thieves back in 91 to him playing, Service Snape and to this film, I mean, he just was so awesome as this character. And I loved how he took it, where he was like such the thespian and like tried to be so serious about this role, but really it's supposed to be a comedic type of role that he's playing. And it's supposed to be of course it's supposed to be a ripoff of like Star Trek and so forth. But at the same time, they made Galaxy Quest like its own thing. And I thought that everyone that was involved really brought that to life. And especially Tim Allen playing kind of like the Captain Kirk kind of character. And, the CGI work and the animation and the screenplay for this time was really well done. And I mean, for The Rock Monster for 1999, that was pretty damn good. For CGI at the time. I mean, I've seen it, advance so much more, but even watching it now, still on high def, it still looks pretty good. And it's just a really well-rounded film. If you haven't seen Galaxy Quest, you haven't lived, people. It's such an amazing film. Great film to have in your collection. Really fun and great performance by the great Tim Allen. He is so amazing and just so awesome in it. Great one-liners, too, that he has in the film. Really well done. Now, it comes to him playing Buzz again in the awesome Toy Story 4. I love where he takes the character in this one, where he, takes every thought of his voice command box and uses it kind of like as his thinking cap, like it's his inner voice. And oh my god, I was laughing so hard every time he did that. And Tim just brought Buzz back to life again and gave us this great performance again that's just pure Buzz. Because I feel every film, Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4, each time Buzz has such a interesting little story arc that he has to go through, and this one was no exception, and he has the same type of thing going on that just makes Buzz who he is. And without Tim Allen's voice, Buzz would not be Buzz, and I think that he did a great job again, giving us this great voiceover, and really, once again, just like Tom Hanks did, gave us a lot of more soul to Buzz, and gave us this great new story arc, and to see how much Buzz has matured in years. And I think that was a really well done and great performance by Mr. Tim Allen. So the next two actresses I'll be talking about are actually newcomers to the series, and this is their first time doing a voiceover in the awesome Toy Story film series. Now, the first person I'm going to talk about is an awesome actor that has been in so many great movies of the years. He had a cameo in the film The Heat. He was a huge member of the great ensemble cast of Veep. And he's just a really amazing comedian. He's in Arrested Development and so forth, and just a really amazing actor. And that, of course, is Mr. Tony Hale. Oh yeah! I think I lost my hand. Freaking Tony Hale is so amazing and hilarious and funny. I actually love this guy, and everything he does, he's so great at. Being Buster Bluth in the Arrested Development, to being his character in Veep, to any role he's in, he's always really amazing and really super funny. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed him and thought he was fantastic in was none other than a great performance in a great Larry the Cable Guy movie that came back out in 2006. That I think is a very underestimated, really well-rounded comedy film that I thought was really fun, hilarious, and really well written, with lots of great, comedy sketches and, one-liners in the film. And then, of course, the film called Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. This movie is so stinking funny, especially some of the scenes that Larry's a part of, and he's, doing these voices and stuff like that. It's so stinking hilarious. But Tony Hale plays a main character in the film that's stuck in a wheelchair. And every time we see him, something's happening to him between him and Larry, and, Larry says something that's, bad towards people that are handicapped, and it's just the interactions between Tony Hale and him are so stinking funny. And then as you learn more about Tony Hale's character throughout the film, you're just kind of okay, I get where they're going with this. And he was such an amazing character in the film, and just really super funny and fun to watch in the film. Really great performance by Tony, and looking forward to more from him and his future films that he does. Now, that brings me to the second film Tony Hale was in that was really fantastic. This movie, a lot of people would be like, really? That was a good movie? And I thought this movie was fantastic, fun, excellent, awesome, hilarious, great writing, great CGI animation, great locations, great music. Just a really all-around, really fun film. And that, of course, is the film called Alvin the Chipmunks, The Road Chip. Oh, yeah. So this awesome movie, I can't reiterate how fun this film is. I was laughing the whole time watching this movie because Tony Hale's character is absolute perfection in this film. He plays this air flight attendant type of character, like an air marshal, actually. And he ends up, on the tail of the chipmunks throughout the whole film, kind of being the main antagonist of the film. And he is, every time he tries to do something backfires on him, and it's just absolutely freaking hilarious and just so stinking funny. Everything he does, something happens to him, he gets hit by a car, or he's trying to do this and they scurry away and he doesn't really notice it because he's in a long speech and stuff like that. It was just really amazingly well done performance by Tony, and he was it was caliber up to his Veep, acting, his Arrested Development acting. He just was so fantastic and so funny. If you're a Tony Hale fan, definitely check out Alvin Chipmunk's Road Trip. His performance in it makes the movie so fun and hilarious. Really great performance by Tony in that film, and very much love that film because of him. So when it comes to his performance in the awesome Toy Story 4, him becoming this new character that they introduced in the film called Forky, he was absolutely perfect as a character because he plays kind of like a clueless, dummy. And Tony Hale plays those characters to the T. And his voice was so perfect for that look and character, and his performance was just so amazing too. To bring to life Forky as well, because you felt his actual acting through the performance, of the animation through Forky, because you really thought that Forky was Tony Hale. That's how great of a performance it was by him. It was so freaking hilarious and so fun, and just a really great performance by Tony, and I'm very glad that they included him in this film and gave him this awesome voiceover opportunity. He was a great addition to the film, and looking forward to hopefully seeing more of Forky. So that brings me to the last character that I like to talk about in this awesome film. Now, the next actress, I should say, does a voiceover in this film, and is her first time playing this character in the awesome Toy Story trilogy. or film series, I should say. And this actress is just an amazing actress. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's always fun to watch. She was in Mad Men. She has been in a ton of films over the years. And just really awesome actress and really fun to watch. And that, of course, is Miss Christina Hendricks. Oh, yeah. So Christina Hendricks, like I said, you might recognize from Mad Men, of course, and a few other shows over the years and some movies and so forth. But she ends up playing a doll character in Toy Story 4 named Bonnie. And all she wants to do is to be loved by a little girl and be her toy. And that she kind of plays along with the Night of the Living looking dummies, kind of like the main bad guy antagonist of the film. But it's actually really just trying to get a home for herself and not be stuck in this, antique store anymore. But Christina Hendricks, her voice just brought a great presence to the character. It was like very sweet and kind sounding, very steady, and never like really like hardcore in any force. Like she wasn't yelling, she wasn't like really soft spoken, but she was just perfect voiceover through the whole thing, and just like very calm demeanor, like I have everything under control, kind of deal. And it just was a really fun and great voiceover by her, I thought. But a couple of films I really enjoyed her and thought she was fantastic in was none other than a great film that came out in 2016 that I thought was really fun. I thought it was a great sequel because it had been 12 years since we had 12 years since we had the original film. And I thought that for how long it took to get the sequel, it still was a pretty fun sequel. And I thought she was a great addition and kind of taking over the Lauren Graham character in the previous film. And that, of course, is a film called Bad Santa 2. Oh, yeah. I really thought this movie was fun. I thought it was enjoyable. I didn't think it was anything of Oscar caliber or anything specifically like such, going to be the greatest movie of all time. But it still was entertaining, and I liked that Christina Hendricks got, part of the film and was kind of that interesting love interest to Billy Bob Thornton's character again. And gave us this, like, new interesting, love interest in the film versus Lauren Graham, the first one. And gave us this really fun performance because she really had kind of like two sides to her in the film, and I thought that was really fun to watch. And I thought how she interacted with each person was really a great acting gig by her too as well. I thought it was a really fun performance by her, and I really enjoyed her in it, and I thought it was a pretty decent film. If you like Christina Hendricks, definitely check out Bad Santa 2. It's worth the watch for her. So that brings me to the second film that Christina Hendricks was in. This film, of course, was considered a box office bomb, and also was a sequel to a film that came out several years prior to this one being released. Now, this film, it wasn't the greatest, most definitely, I agree with that, but at the same time, I still thought it was entertaining enough, and I thought it was still fun to watch. And that, of course, is a film called Zoolander 2. Blue Steel. I think that Zoolander, the character created by Ben Stiller, is such a funny, stinking character. And I thought it was great that they brought back, him again and gave him a whole new movie. They explained, where the wife went, Christina Taylor after, how it ended in the first film, where his kids are, how he is, what he's up to now, where Hansel is. We get to go see what Magatu is up to and all of his henchmen and stuff like that. And I just thought it was a really fun kind of closure to those characters and give them a little bit more of them. And I still thought it was a really funny and fun film. And Christina Hendricks plays this character called the Seductress in it. And I think she's funny as the character, and just was a really great addition to the film, along with Penelope Cruz and everyone else that was added to the film, and just gave it another great spice, kind of like how the first one had a lot of cameos and a lot of parts in the film. And Kristen Wiig was super hilarious too in it, and I thought that they all worked so well together and gave us this really fun kind of silly film that's what it is. It was supposed to be just silly fun and something fun to do. And it wasn't, meant to be considered so serious. And I feel that sometimes when the critics talk about certain films, they're thinking way too seriously about these. And that's not what it's about. It's about entertainment quality. And that's what I felt that, Zoolander 2 was. And this film, I thought, with the addition of one, a great actress, that just came off of, Mad Men, Christina Hendricks, was a really great and smart move and gave the film a little boost and a little fun. And I just really enjoyed her role in it. Thought it was really fun. If you like Christina Hendricks, like I said in the previous one, definitely check out Zoolander 2 for performance. I thought it was pretty fun, really interesting, and a decent addition to that film. Now, when it comes to her character Bonnie, like I was saying before, I thought it was a really great performance. Really fun, really entertaining, and a great new addition to the Toy Story franchise. And it'll be interesting to see if they do end up doing another sequel and if they bring her back, that character, and we get to see her again. Because I think that's kind of interesting, how she ends up where she does, and what her character does, and maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of her. Because kind of similar to Bo Peep, we went a whole movie without knowing where Bo Peep was, what she was up to, and it was great to see her back, voiced by the great Annie Potts. And I'm hoping that maybe in the future we'll get to see more of Christina Hendricks' characters, just like Tony Hale's character Forky and so forth. So that'll be interesting to see, and hopefully we'll get to see more of Christina Hendricks' character. Really great job and really great addition to the film. So if you're not familiar with what Toy Story 4 is about, basically this time around we find out that Woody's kind of being put on the sideline to the other toys with the new owner. And what ends up happening is a new creature or new toy is created by the main girl that Andy's toys went to in number 3, and his name is Forky. And so Forky starts to try to get away and do all this crazy stuff, and they're trying to make him realize that he's a toy, not just garbage. And then the family ends up going on a trip, and on their trip, that's when Bo Peep pops back up again, and kind of this whole ensuing of trying to find Forky again, trying to save Forky from Bonnie, and save Woody from Bonnie, and try to get them back to, the little girl again. And that's pretty much the story of the film. And that's where they get introduced to these other characters. You get introduced to Jordan Peele's character, and Michael Keegan Key's character, and so forth. And it's just a really, really fun film. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. It'll hit those, tearjerker type of deals. I mean, it's just as good as the other 3. Really amazing, really fun. The only thing I didn't care for it was the ending. I didn't care for it. I felt that it left it way too closed-ended, where they really maybe couldn't go to another film. But at the same time, you never know. They can do really anything they want. But at the same time, I just didn't care too much for the ending, and that's why on my top 10 of 2019 so far, this is why Toy Story was number 10 in that list, is because of the ending. Otherwise, the film is fantastic. You might not like it. You might enjoy it. Who knows? You never know. That's why it's called an opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's what I felt about it, and I still think it's a fantastic film. Can't wait to add it to the collection, and a really fun sequel film as well. Great job, Pixar, and great job, Disney. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Also, thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, if you've been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Do I have to create a new Forky and have him say, "Please subscribe"? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video or any awesome videos I put up. And as always, people, keep your eyes out for any older, new videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as always, people, keep your eyes out for the awesome Stardust app, where you can watch 3 to 30-second little mini reviews of TV shows, trailers, movies, anything your heart desires. So if that's something that you go ahead and download it. Look for me on the Cybernetics 13. Follow me and I'll follow you back. And as always, people, check out my awesome Patreon page. And also, people, check out the awesome horror packs. Something fun and all. And like I said in previous videos, I am doing a giveaway. So everybody from 165 on that does subscribe will be put into a drawing to win an awesome, amazing, free digital download that I have an extra of. And once I hit that 200 mark, I will do the drawing, and the person that is picked will be notified. So keep that in mind if you haven't subscribed yet, be a part of that awesome crew. Yeah, free stuff. Anyway, so as always, people, catch you next one.